Simmons on the near alley. Fields it to Spallina behind cage. No one there to meet him. Spallina looking for an open guy. Doesn't have one yet.
Cachufo out of his net.
That he is. Now Cachufo retreats back in as the defender goes to hound Spallina. Spallina goes inside, fires, finds the upper left 90, but he was in the crease. Syracuse fires its goal horn, but to no avail. Bonaventure takes it from left to right, down 5-2, 3 minutes into the second quarter.
Same exact play that Sean Wesley had in the first quarter. He had that same inside spin, scored, but was in the crease, and Spallina did literally a carbon copy move in the same spot of the field.
And it went into the same spot of the goal, that upper bar.
It did.
Nonetheless, Bonaventure from left to right. Andrew Hersey on the near alley. Native of Lancaster, New York, about 14 miles east of Buffalo. The whistle blows, and an offensive violation.
It's an offside. Bonaventure had 7 on the other side of midfield. He can't do that, so Syracuse takes over. It was an issue the Orange had against Duke. They were called for an offside. They were busy complaining about the penalty. And all the meanwhile, Dyson Williams was wide open and scored a goal.
Orange take it from right to left. Griffin Cook seeking his first hat trick of the season. Has it in the slot just past midfield. The Orange in no rush as Burt Whistle meanders in a backpedal form, by the way. Now he gives it to Luke Roa, working down the slot. Back to Burt Whistle, about 15 yards from cage in the middle of the field. Hiltz on the far alley. Swim dodges inside. Fakes the lefty shot. Now he shoots and finds Twine. The Canadian on the board for the first time today. 6-2 Syracuse, 4 minutes in to the second quarter.
People underrate, maybe it's because he got hurt last year, Liam, but people underrate just how good and just how fast Owen Hiltz is. He made a beeline from the far alley to the slot. Like it was nothing. Nick Porfilio, the long pull, had no chance on him. And then we all know he's got the lefty shot that maybe nobody else, well, maybe nobody else on this team has from the left hand at least. And maybe nobody else in the conference has. He is an outstanding, outstanding shooter. And again, his athleticism is underrated. He just showed it right there.
Hiltz was number 2 in his recruiting class, and he just showed why. Aiden Smith to take the face-off against Bertruza. Whistle blows. Smith and Bertruza in a scramble for it. Bertruza makes a dive for it, but can't pick it up. Whistle blows. Who's the violation on? It's on Bonaventure.
That's a push on the Bonnies. So it doesn't count against the 3 violations that lead to a penalty every half.
Finn Thompson trots down the middle of the field. SU working from right to left. Finds his midfield line mate Alex Simmons along the near alley. Now Hiltz again, fakes a shot. Cradles inside. Shot goes way high into the bleachers to our left. Spallina picks it up. SU will have just over 60 seconds to shoot.
That was like a quarterback's arm getting hit as he let it go. Cam Germain got his stick as Hiltz was firing the shot.
Spallina at X, hounded by the senior Zach Belter. Righty cradle. Now Thompson behind cage. Fields it to Kirst. Goes inside, fires, hits the post with the shot. It ricochets wildly back out to the middle of the field. Hiltz scoops it up but can't maintain possession. Now the Bonnies have it. David Steria with the ground ball, and the Bonnies working from left to right. Plenty of open field, and the Bonnies shoot. It's the stick of Will Mark. Brady Vibrant's got a shot off, but Mark did a bit of a double take. It bounced out of his stick, then he corralled it, and the Orange already have it in their attacking box.
Vibrant's was wide open. He is a short stick D-midi, not exactly the guy you want shooting, but in that situation, you have nobody in front of you 10 yards out. You almost have to take the shot.
Cole Kirst has it goal line extended near side. SU offense taking it slow as the second line midfield comes on. Luke Roa has it on the near alley. Lefty cradle, he fires and scores. A quick shot there from Luke Roa, his 5th goal of the season, and Syracuse starting to pile it on. 7-2 with 9:18 left to play in the second quarter. Katie, Adrian Autry is officially the new head coach of Syracuse men's basketball. SU Athletics held a press conference this morning where John Wildhack officially declared Autry as the 8th head man in program history. After the announcement, Autry had nothing but gratitude for the man whose position he is assuming, Jim Boeheim.
There's no doubt that you have created and will leave a legacy of greatness. Your contribution to the Syracuse basketball program, the university, and the city of Syracuse is one to be admired and celebrated. Thank you.
Boeheim was at the helm for 47 seasons and led SU to 35 NCAA tournaments, 5 Final Fours, and the 2003 National Championship. Stay tuned to both at WAER Sports and at WAER Sports Talk on Twitter for the latest surrounding SU men's hoops. A special halftime ceremony is taking place during Syracuse men's lacrosse's clash with number 10 Johns Hopkins tomorrow. Orange legend Mike Powell's number 22 will be raised to the rafters. Powell is SU's all-time leader in points, is the only player to win 4 Jack Turnbull Awards for the best attack in lacrosse, and he won 2 Tewaaraton Awards for the best overall player in lacrosse. Syracuse and Johns Hopkins were new acquaintances at 4 on Saturday. Our coverage begins at 3:30 with McClurg team countdown to face-off. On the women's side, number 2 Syracuse women's lacrosse puts its 6-0 record to the test against number 12 Notre Dame tomorrow. Attack Megan Carney has made a mark in every game so far. The graduate student has recorded multiple goals in all 6 of the Orange's contests this season. Carney aims to keep the good times rolling against the Fighting Irish tomorrow. Opening draw is at noon. Finally, Syracuse women's basketball finds out its postseason fate at 8 on Sunday. Liam Griffin, WAER Sports.
I can't wait to see the games. You know, I subscribe to every network I can so I can see the boys continue to play, and it's quite humbling.
That was Brian Spallina, uncle to Joey and founder of Team 91. Based on Long Island, Team 91 is one of the top travel lacrosse teams in the country. In fact, it was named the number 1 club by U.S. Club Lax for the 4th straight year last September. Kids as young as kindergartners and as old as high school seniors play with Team 91, and 7 current Syracuse players were once members of the club, including Attack Joey Spallina.
I mean, it was probably the best ever. You know, that team was unreal. I mean, it was the best team to ever play. So, yeah, I mean, playing with all those guys and to see us all now playing against each other and with each other in college is awesome.
Spallina, midfielders Michael Leo, Brandon Avilas, Tyler Corris, and Dylan Seguider, as well as defensemen Nick Kakemo and Jake Murphy, all played for Team 91, as did 2 noteworthy players on today's opponent.
Roll dodge, pass out, McAdory, O'Neal, far goal line extended, shoots and scores! That's a hat trick for Brennan O'Neal. You can't leave him open.
Scooped up right back to Montgomery. He finds a teammate. There's a shot and a score by McAdory with 3.5 seconds left to play. The momentum shifter that Duke needed.
Brennan O'Neal and Andrew McAdory came into today's contest first and second on Duke in scoring respectively. They also played their club days with Team 91, and both Brian and Joey Spallina have fond memories of the Duke standouts.
I mean, watching those guys, it was always a treat. I mean, it was always a treat. It's a testament to the work ethic my brother instilled in them, but those kids all bought in. I mean, they just absolutely loved the game, and you know, it's crazy. Even at young ages, the fans would be 2 and 3 deep around these youth games just to watch the talent on the field.
Yeah, I mean, I've played with those guys since I was in 1st grade, so you know, to now to be able to play against them is a bit weird, but you know, I mean, it's cool in a way.
In totality, Team 91 produces over 20 Division I commits per year. Brian Spallina's hope is that all of his club's alumni will help to grow the game for future generations.
You know, a lot of the alumni guys that have graduated through 91 and went on to college and maybe are still some playing the professional leagues, they always come back for tryouts. So they actually have like a cool, you know, connection to the kids, and the younger kids see these kids and they aspire to be just like them.
Syracuse currently has 4 future commitments from Team 91 players, but that number should only grow if the club continues to build on its momentum. Liam Griffin, WAER Sports. You talked about the sheer weirdness of this game. I mean, the fact of the matter is they took it from 15 minutes to 10 minutes in the 3rd and 4th quarters because, like you said, Wagner, undersized, undermanned. To paraphrase Stephen A. Smith, they could not play with this Orange team. I mean, that's not a knock on Wagner.
No,
but it looked like when the freshman team scrimmaged the varsity squad back in high school. And I should know, I was on the freshman team that got beat up by the varsity team.
Any footage of that anywhere?
For the good news is, no, there's not footage of that anywhere.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, no. But it was to protect Wagner's players as well, because I have a hard time thinking that if they hadn't played the full 30 minutes of the second half, someone was bound to get hurt, because football is a brutal, brutal game. We've seen it in the NFL with Tua. We saw it today with Sean Tucker and Matthew Bergeron, frankly, getting injured in a game that, like you said, Joe, Syracuse had no business scheduling. And if you want to get a softer team on the roster, I understand. Not Wagner. Not a program that hasn't won a game in 3 years. It makes no sense, Joe.
Well, yeah.
Risking these players' seasons, careers, just in a game you win 59-0.
It really wasn't worth it, I fear. And you look at the totals from this game, right? Syracuse did everything the right way, but if you're losing players, as we alluded to earlier, it's not even worth it. When we were coming into this game thinking, okay, well, what are we going to discuss on the air? Like this is a game that Syracuse arguably shouldn't play. Now, granted, this is it's more than just scheduling an opponent. Obviously, there's home and homes and agreements, and Wagner University getting its fair share in this deal, but when you're going up against an FCS team, as you mentioned, Liam, that hasn't won in over 20 games, and your left tackle goes down with an injury at the goal line. Granted, he came back into the game, so all should be fine. But you're risking Matt Bergeron, an injury to your top-tier left tackle, with the ACC slate coming up. I think Matt Bergeron plays too much of a critical role in this offense, just like Schrader and Tucker. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, Joe. And if you want to get your thoughts in on Bergeron's injury or anyone's injury, to be frank, we'd love to hear it. Call in at 315-443-2011 or get at us on Twitter at WAER Sports Talk. Liam Griffin and Joe Puccio breaking down Syracuse's 59-0 domination of Wagner. We'll be with you until 10 o'clock here on the double overtime. So we touched on it. Bergeron did come back into the game, but I can't help but think it's concerning. So, Joe, truth be told, after Bergeron went down in the first place, Syracuse was already up by a handful. So at that point, what's the point of even bringing him back out? Joe, would you have even put Bergeron back in the game when he first got hurt? I mean, this is your all-ACC offensive tackle. He's a future NFL draft pick.
Yeah, I think you leave him in, you just rotate him out. You have to even out the snaps with your offensive line. You look at the runs that Sean Tucker had today, that was because of the left side of the offensive line. Right. We talked about the 61-yard rush earlier, pretty much setting open that seam on the left side. But then Matthew Bergeron also plays a big part in the passing game.
Right.
And Garrett Schrader found Anthony Quealy for his first catch in the third quarter. Matthew Bergeron set up holes for LaQuint Allen on the left side of the line. Like, you have to bring Matt Bergeron back in the game. You're not going to see NFL teams just sub out their top-tier offensive linemen unless it's the fourth quarter with 3 minutes left and they're up 4 touchdowns. So you just have to have an offensive line rotation. I think Syracuse dipped into that a little bit, not because they wanted to, because they had to. They didn't have Matt Bergeron. So you have to keep him in the game. I'm not saying he's got to play every snap. I'm not saying this is Syracuse, Virginia Tech from a season ago, we were going, tit for tat, and you need to score every single possession. But I wouldn't just take out Matt Bergeron for the rest of the game. Now, if he gets hurt in this situation, like he did, getting his ankle rolled at the goal line on a running play, maybe you sit him out for the next few drives. It's Wagner. You can sit him out for a few drives, and you'll be okay. But it is not... It's not optimistic. It's not encouraging to see that your top-tier left tackle is down and out, because who knows? Maybe your right guard goes down. Then your left guard goes down. All of a sudden, you got to roll in rotational pieces at different positions. If you have Matt Bergeron as your left tackle as the anchor, that solves all of your problems. You can move guys to the inside. You can move people to the right tackle spot. But Matt Bergeron isn't setting up those lanes, or no one else is setting up those lanes on the left side for Sean Tucker, LaQuint Allen, and protecting Garrett Schrader like Matthew Bergeron did. And when he went down with that injury, you sort of lost that.
Yeah, this offensive line runs through Matthew Bergeron.
Absolutely.
He's, without question, the best offensive lineman to come out of this university since maybe Justin Pugh back when he was here, now an offensive guard in the National Football League.
I would agree with that.
Imagine if Bergeron is gone against NC State. Game over. Game over.